Welcome back. Republicans on the House Oversight Committee releasing a staff report which details how federal agencies have failed to develop a plan to combat the Chinese Communist Party's political warfare, warning that the Biden-Harris administration is dangerously behind in implementing measures to combat the CCP. It's recommending the federal government create a government-wide strategy. It comes as the committee is also investigating Democrat vice presidential nominee Tim Walz's ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Chairman James Comer recently issuing a subpoena to DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas for all documents and information related to Walz's connections to China and those 30 trips he's taken there. Joining me now is Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison. He's a member of the House Oversight, Transportation, and Education Committees. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for being
Great
here.
To see you.
Let's start on the report about Communist China and their political warfare. Tell us what they're doing.
Yeah, it's coming at us from all fronts. They are infiltrating our universities. They are they're performing corporate espionage in the United States, in the agriculture system. You know, while the United States has prided itself as an exporter to China, they have integrated into the supply chain. And so, you know, you name it. Since I've been a member of Congress in just a little over a year and a half, every aspect, I've been in so many hearings and had so many reports given about the level of Chinese espionage. When people ask me back home, what are you surprised at? This is the #1 issue that surprised me as someone that was entering Congress.
Yeah, no, I know. We've been covering this now for a few years, and we recognize what the CCP has been doing. I guess my question would be, what changed? We've known this for several years, and it's amazing to me that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can have a whole government plan, they call it whole of government plan, to have every single agency get involved in the voting process, getting people to vote, getting the word out to register people in every agency. And yet every agency should be focused on our #1 adversary, and they're not doing it. So what should the Harris-Biden administration do about this?
Yeah, to your point, they need to address this as this needs to be a system-wide, a global-wide policy with all of the federal agencies to make sure that they have a posture that recognizes the reality, which is that we are entering a Cold War with China, that they are highly, the espionage level of China, their hostility, their economic hostility towards the United States is something that we have to sit up and take notice of. Yeah. Look, the Treasury Department, they want to sell Treasury notes to China, but they don't want to recognize that the Belt and Road Initiative is a direct, economic attack on the infrastructure of the United States. Yeah. We have our universities that are obtuse to the level of espionage that's happening on our publicly funded universities. These are the kind of things that we need to change systematically.
Right. Well, look, we haven't heard Kamala Harris say anything about it. And, of course, we know that your committee, the Oversight Committee, is investigating Tim Walz. Kamala will be campaigning in Houston today. She's going to be joined by Beyonce, so she's got lots of celebrity around her. She's also campaigning with Congressman Colin Allred, who's challenging Ted Cruz's Senate seat. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is slamming this visit, telling Fox News Digital that the borders are Kamala Harris can come all the way to Houston, where Jocelyn Nungaray was murdered by Tren de Aragua gang members that she led into the country, yet she cannot be bothered to visit Jocelyn's family or even say her name. Meanwhile, a new report details how a Department of Homeland Security official used social media to promote illegal migration into America. The American Accountability Foundation finds that the employee would post on social media highlighting illegal immigrants who now own businesses in the United States, Congressman. So, she's campaigning in Texas. She's got Beyonce there. She doesn't mention all of these illegals who actually reportedly murdered American citizens. And then, of course, she's got all this celebrity around her. You don't see Tim Walz too much around her. Maybe Tim Walz hasn't been helping her. Where does your investigation stand in terms of Walz's connections to China? And what about the election today? What do you want to say?
Yeah, I think the most disturbing thing was his involvement with the Macau Polytechnic University, Chinese university. I think that, while he was an educator, I think they were grooming him for the 30 trips that he took, and then he organized students to go to China. But the fact that he became a fellow with a Chinese university after becoming a member of Congress is what is that's the most deeply disturbing part of his background with China.
Do you believe China paid for those 30 trips?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think Tim Walz with a teacher's salary paid for those 30 trips.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering recently. And I guess, do you think that could maybe compromise him since they've paid for his travel back and forth?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what the arrangement was. That's something that we need to look into.
Yeah.
I understand that he created a business and was receiving funds to pay for these trips.
Oh.
We need to determine what exactly, how that money flowed.
I see. John Lonsky, jump in here.
Well, there's going to be quite of interest. This issue regarding China and Tim Walz. My goodness, we'll have to look at that closely. After all, China is not only our biggest economic competitor, but it's become one of our biggest worries from a national security perspective. And it does make me feel uncomfortable that you could have somebody like Tim Walz as vice president of the United States, given this murky relationship he has with China.
Yeah, and we're looking at pictures of him campaigning right now, Congressman, as immigration remains basically the first or second most important issue for voters. I want to get your take on this because Kamala Harris is now promising that she's going to secure the border. Immigration is not just an issue for America. We're seeing it all across the world where leaders are saying no more. Look what happened in Italy, in Giorgia Meloni. Illegal migrants coming into Italy down 60%. Now you've got Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announcing plans to cut immigration. He posted this on X. We're going to significantly reduce the number of immigrants coming to Canada for the next 2 years. This is temporary to pause our population growth and let our economy catch up. We have to get the system working right for all Canadians. Canada's unemployment rate is 6.6%. Real GDP per capita has declined in 7 of the past 8 quarters. And now they're dealing with the population surge because of the migrants. Population is now at 41 million people. In 2019, there were 37.5 million people living in that country, Congressman. So it's not just America. What do you want to say about the way Kamala Harris has dealt with this issue and with this open border policy of 10 million illegals coming into the country on her watch? And now she says, no, I'm going to secure the border.
Yeah, the translation is that this progressive ideology of having open borders and letting people come across unvetted doesn't work. And it's not popular with the voters. And so what is remarkable is that Kamala Harris has not made an about face, and the Biden administration has not course corrected and shut down the border like what's happening in Canada. Look, when Kamala Harris is more left than Justin Trudeau, this is a problem.
Yeah, good point. All right, Congressman, we'll be watching your work. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much, Eric Burlison, joining us this morning.